what is going on in the Big Apple? We know that Kristaps skipped out on the exit meetings. We know that his agent, his brother, had a meeting with Phil Jackson trying to bridge the gap. That didn't necessarily do anything. And now the Knicks have let go of Kristaps' favorite assistant, Josh Longstaff. What do you think is happening here? I feel like maybe at the end of the day, Kristaps might want out. What's your take on how they're handling their franchise player?
Well, Clement, first of all, I believe Kristaps does want out. The problem is he's not going anywhere. He's got no leverage to get out. He's on a rookie scale deal. And then even after that, yes, could he certainly turn down an extension, sign the qualifying offer, and end up being an unrestricted free agent? He could, but he runs the risk of costing himself a tremendous amount of money. Money I don't think he will cost himself. The Knicks may let him go out. He may decide not to sign with the Knicks and sign a restricted deal with somebody else, an offer sheet, and then tell the Knicks don't match. Knicks are going to match anyway. So nonetheless, and that's a couple of years out anyway. So he's trapped there. With that said, you would think that Phil Jackson would want to make him happy and make him feel like he's got skin in the game and he's a part of this. But that meeting with Kristaps' brother Giannis went horribly wrong because all Phil Jackson wanted to do was talk about the triangle, and more triangle. For Phil, this is not about anybody around him, but about him leaving the legacy of the triangle offense with the Knicks when he's not there anymore. And the thing that Phil's tone deaf to is that no one around him is interested. They're looking for a better, more modern system to run, and no one has any faith or trust in Phil, least of all Porzingis. Again, Porzingis has no choice and can't get himself out of there, but I will tell you this. Phil Jackson made a comment at the draft combine, like the media acts like they don't know what they're doing, but they do. They appear to not know what they're doing. I think at times Phil's lazy when it comes to scouting. He certainly did not scout Joakim Noah properly before he threw a tremendous amount of money at him. And now you're in a situation, this is a crucial summer for the Knicks. They're trying to trade Carmelo Anthony. I don't know if they'll be successful. I'm not sure he wants to go anywhere. They want him out, but Phil's done a wonderful job of devaluing him in the trade market. And this number 8 pick they have in the draft this year is a huge, huge pick for them and who they're going to pair up Porzingis to be that young guy to go with them for the team to grow because they're in the midst of a rebuild. As much as Phil Jackson wants to talk playoffs are nonsense for the Knicks. Phil Jackson has done a very bad job in 3 years, and maybe nothing worse here than alienating Kristaps Porzingis, who likes Carmelo Anthony and doesn't like the way Phil's treated Carmelo Anthony. But Phil doesn't care if anybody's happy. He just wants the triangle.
Can you be any more stubborn than what we're seeing from Phil Jackson? Talk about trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. I just don't understand how he thinks this is going to work out well. You talk bad about your star player and you alienate your franchise player. Just doesn't seem like smart business from Phil Jackson. I expect a lot more from him, Brian, but I don't know how he's going to resolve all this because this is a mess.
It's a huge mess, Clement, and I expected a ton more from him in this job. The problem is this, and this is interesting. Phil is a coach. What they always talk about, his people skills, his communication skills, his ability to reach guys. Well, as a team president, it's a different role in terms of how you reach guys, yet he wants to be more involved with the coaching. He has absolutely emasculated his head coach, Jeff Hornacek, in the eyes of these players by coming out in the court in the middle of practice, by correcting things in the way the coach is teaching them. And now Phil wants to be more involved with the coaching. He wants to run triangle camps. You have to let your coach do his job. And this coach has not been able to garner the level of respect from his players that he should garner because he's an excellent coach, because Phil is constantly in his grill. And you know what? He saddled them. Phil wanted Kurt Rambis to have this job. So what did he do? He didn't give Jeff Hornacek a choice. He saddled him with Kurt Rambis on that staff. And now poor Jeff Hornacek has a spy on his staff that goes right to the team president. He's done such a bad job in terms of how he's managed people here. And Jim Dolan leaves him in this job pretty much because he's a lightning rod. This is like season 1 of The Sopranos where Tony installed Uncle Junior as the puppet boss, as the FBI's lightning rod. That's what this is with the media. Dolan doesn't want to be written about, and he's being successful with it. $12 million a year, so the New York tabloids write about Phil Jackson all the time instead of Jim Dolan. But that's who the Knicks are. They're more worried about what's being said and written about them than winning games on the court. And as long as that continues to be that situation from ownership on down, this Knicks situation is going to be an unmitigated disaster, Clement.
It is an absolute soap opera in the Big Apple, that is for sure.